Hello everyone, my name is Alexis and welcome to Design Your Life, the 30-day yoga journey, day 30. You have the power to change your life. I am so excited and so proud and so grateful that we are here at day 30 together. If you have done all 30 days with me, whether it took you 30 days or it took you a year, I am so grateful that you are here, that you did this journey with me, and I'm so excited for this last day. Make sure that you are seated up on some sort of meditation cushion or block or pillow, whatever is going to make you comfortable. We're just going to begin in a seated position. I'm sitting up on a cushion, and we're going to begin with just a very short reflection and an instruction on our last mudra. We've been working with mudras for the duration of the 30 days, and this is our last one. We're going to come back to it throughout the class. So this is a little bit of a tricky one. It's kind of fun, but kind of tricky, so bear with me. You're going to bring your thumb and your pointer fingers to touch, and then touch the tip of those together. Your middle fingers are going to touch at the tips, and then your ring finger and pinkies are going to tuck in. So this is what it'll look like up close, and then you're just going to rest that right at your ribs. Relax your elbows by your sides, shoulders away from your ears. Just let your hands fall where they naturally will, holding this mudra. This is the Vajra mudra, and it is the mudra of the third eye. And the reason I picked this mudra for this class is this class, you might have noticed, is a very long class. It is the culmination of everything we have done together throughout these 30 days. So everything you've learned, everything you've done, all the poses that you've learned and done are going to show up in this class, which this class, in my mind, as I designed this whole journey, was sort of the third eye, our drishti point, our North Star of this journey, of this series. And the Vajra mudra, symbolizing the third chakra, once again, helps us tap into our North Star, helps us tap into where we want to go, where are we headed, what is our trajectory. So as we flow through this class, I want you to think about, what do you want your trajectory to be for the next year? And how are you going to get there? Take a couple breaths here, holding this mudra. And like I said, we're going to come back to this mudra and come back to this idea of where are we going? What is within my power to change towards that trajectory throughout the rest of this class? Take one more big breath in through the nose. Let it out the mouth. And let your hands rest back in your lap. And you can keep your eyes open or closed. Just tuck the chin into the chest and breathe into the back of the neck. And then rock the right ear towards the right shoulder. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. We're just getting a nice stretch in the left side of the neck here. If you want, you can walk the left fingers out onto the mat away from you to get a deeper stretch in the upper shoulder. Wherever you are, continue to breathe. And if you'd like, you can reach the right arm, the right hand up and over to the left ear to gently pull the ear away from the shoulder, very, very gently. You can bring both arms back into the lap, rock the chin through the chest and all the way over to the other side, so the left ear is now over the left shoulder. Relax through the shoulders, feel the stretch on the right side of the neck. And once again, you can walk the right fingers this time away from you to deepen the stretch. And if you like, you can bring the left hand up and over to the right ear, gently tugging it away. But we're being really, really gentle here. Like we've done every time we've done these neck stretches throughout this journey. Stay gentle, stay present, don't force something. That doesn't feel right, that doesn't feel good. The journey here to this class is I want you to feel good. We're going to go through a lot of poses in this class. I want you to feel good, I want you to feel capable as we go through this class. So if there's a pose that is difficult or challenging or you just cannot do, is not in your practice today, let it be, let it go. And then move on with the class as we move on. Take another breath here in this very gentle neck stretch. And then bring both hands back into the lap, rock the chin back into the chest, and lift the gaze. And if you like, we're just going to start with very gentle neck circles here too. So you can rock the ears side to side, or you can do full circles. But if you do full circles, I advise just to go very gently. Don't force anything. Don't push anything. Continue to breathe wherever you are as you move through these very gentle neck motions. Then bring the head back through to center. Inhale the arms up overhead, and we'll come to a side bend. Bring the right hand down to the mat, reach the left arm up and over, and then springboard off the right hand to come over to the left, reaching the right arm up and over, and move just like that. Side bend to the right, reach through the side body. Side bend to the left, reach through the right side of the body. Continue just like that, back and forth, side to side. Allowing this movement to lubricate your spine. We're going to begin opening up the spine in all the directions that it goes, that it moves. Come now to the right side and rest here in your side bend. Maybe focus on anchoring that left hip to the mat and really opening up and expanding through each of the left ribs. And then flip on over to the left side, anchoring the right hip and imagining you can create space between each of your right ribs. Continue to breathe. Come back to center. Lift both arms up through. And we're going to come to a twist to the right. So bring the left hand to the right knee. Left hand, right knee. Inhale back through to center. And then bring the right hand to the left knee, twisting to the left. And we're just going to continue like that. Inhaling through to center and exhaling to twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale through center. Exhale through left. Try to keep the spine long as you move through these twists. Twist to the right. And rest here in your twist. Try to get long through the spine, twisting a little deeper. You can shrug your shoulders or move your neck here, whatever you need. Breathe deeply. Inhale through to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears, spine nice and long, chin lifted. Come back through to center. Clasp the fingers, interlace the fingers together, send the palms forward and up overhead, big breath in, and then exhale, flip the palms around the shoulders towards you. Inhale, palms to the ceiling, lift up. Exhale, round the palms in front of the face, chin to chest. Kind of like a cat-cow, seated cat-cow here, where we're flipping the palms up and then rounding them forward. Inhale, up. Exhale, round, tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round through the spine. Beautiful. Well done. If you were sitting on a cushion or a block or a pillow, go ahead and move it out of the way. Maybe switch the cross of your legs just for fun. And we're going to come into our Sufi grinds. So hands on the knees and start rotating the shoulders in big circles. These can be as big or as small as you like, whatever's comfortable. On your knees, on your hips. We're moving the spine. We're rotating it, making big circles. Or small circles, again, up to you. Whatever's comfortable for you. Try to make the movement fairly big, though. Try to get a nice wide arc as you move, as you circle. Very nice. Keep going. And then maybe switch the cross of the legs if you hadn't already and change the direction of your Sufi grinds, circling in the opposite direction now. Beautiful. Keep going, keep breathing. and come back to center. And from here, go ahead and extend the left leg out long, keeping the right foot into the groin. And we're going to come into half butterfly. We're going to do a number of forward folds here in this pose. So first, I just want you to come into a side bend towards the left. So you're not trying to fold over the leg. You're just bending sideways. You're just straight out of the hips. Doesn't matter where that left leg is in space. You're just doing a regular old side bend. Just the legs are a little bit different. Breathe deeply here. Come back through to center. Now pivot the hips towards where that left leg is stretched out in front of you and fold over that left leg. Beautiful. Lift on up and then pivot the shoulders so they're back level on top of the hips and then fold straight forward. So 3 different folds to get slightly different areas of the hips and our inner thighs and our glutes to just begin to warm up and stretch the muscles before we start moving into more intense and deeper poses. Go ahead and lift yourself back up and we'll just switch sides. So left foot comes into the groin, right leg extends. And just like on the other side, we're just going to start with a straight side bend over to the right. So try to keep that hand in line with the hip, the right hand in line with the hip, and then you're reaching the left arm up and over, still keeping that left hip nice and grounded on the mat. Inhale back through to center. Pivot the shoulders so they're facing the leg, the right leg, wherever it's extended out, and fold over that leg. And lift yourself on up. This time, shoulders straight over the hips and fold straight forward in front of you. And again, it's okay if you're not folding very far. It's okay if the leg isn't out super wide like mine is. Move within your own range of motion here. So much of what we've done throughout this 30-day journey is paying attention to where are we at? How are we feeling? What are we experiencing as we move through these poses and mantras and mudras, affirmations, meditations? Lift yourself back up, bring both legs together, and we'll come into full butterfly. So soles of feet together, knees apart. Hug the feet as close as is comfortable. I don't want you to put too much pressure on the knees, and just begin to flap the legs up and down like a little butterfly. Warming up the hips, inner thighs. Breathe deeply here. Big breath in, sit up nice and tall, and then from this tall spine, fold forward over the feet. Beautiful. Lift yourself back up. Bring the knees together. And we're going to swivel around to come into tabletop pose. This should be familiar by now. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Engage your core like you could suck your belly button up and in. Feel stable. Here in your tabletop pose, I hope it feels familiar by now. And we're going to move through some cat-cows. So inhale to open across the chest. Exhale, round the chest up to the ceiling. Round the back up to the ceiling. Moving just like that, match your breath to the movement, or rather match the movement to your breath. So your inhale guides how long it takes to open up the chest. Your exhale guides how long it takes to round the spine. Beautiful. And do one more. And then you're going to inhale into cow and exhale into child's pose. Inhale forward into cow pose, broaden the chest. Exhale back into child's pose. Again, we've done this a couple times. Find fluidity here as you flow through these two poses. We're going to be building up to some more fluid poses as we move through this practice. So find that fluidity here. Try and imagine that your hips are almost making a circle as you lift up into cow pose and back into child's pose. Just a couple more. We'll do one more. Next time you sit down into child's pose, make sure your knees are wide. And then on your next inhale forward, we're going to come into hanging cobra. So you're going to rock forward onto the knees, let the hips drop, shoulders over the wrists, open up across the whole chest, feet are lifted, and then exhale back into a wide-legged child's pose. Inhale forward and hanging cobra, and exhale back. And if hanging cobra is uncomfortable, you can continue to do the cow pose to child's pose flow like we were just doing. So pick your adventure, choose which one that feels good to you in your body today. So much of this journey has been figuring out, am I being authentic to what I need, what I want? That's the journey of ahimsa. That's the journey of svadhyaya, self-knowledge, do no harm. These are the actions of the yamas and the niyamas in our life. Come back into tabletop pose, and we're going to move into some elbow openers. So bring your right hand to the back of your head. Press through the left hand, open up the right elbow to the ceiling, and then bring the right elbow to meet the left. So inhale, open up the right elbow to the ceiling. Exhale, elbow meets elbow. Continue just like that, opening up through the thoracic chest and try to keep the hips square as you do this. You really want to isolate the movement in your upper chest and use your core to support the stability in your hips. And then inhale the right hand all the way up to the ceiling, and we're going to come into thread the needle. So swing or guide the right hand underneath the left shoulder. Gentle twist here. Keep the hips over the knees. The left arm can reach out in front of you or wrap behind you to tuck in front of your right thigh. It's up to you. Breathe where you are. Keep your core engaged. Inhale that right arm all the way back up to the ceiling, and we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So that left hand comes behind the head. Push through the right hand to open the left elbow up to the sky. Deep breath in, and exhale, bring the left elbow to meet the right. Inhale, open the elbow up to the ceiling. Exhale, elbow meets elbow. Continue just like that. Couple more. And don't push yourself here. Check in. Are you pushing yourself too far? Or are you finding the balance? Are you finding the moderation between the extremes of not enough and too much? Inhale that left arm up to the ceiling, and exhale, thread it underneath the right shoulder to come into thread the needle. Reach the right arm forward, or you can wrap it behind your back to tuck in front of your left thigh. Up to you. As we move through these poses, think on what is your goal for the year? What is your trajectory? If you had to pick one thing, one word, one feeling that you want in this next year, what would it be? And as we move through this class, you'll start brainstorming. How can you get there? How can you feel that way all the time? Lift yourself on out of thread the needle, come back into tabletop pose, and we're going to come into our sunbird holds. We've done these a number of times in this class. Such a great movement. Extend the right leg back behind you. You can flex the foot or point it. Keep the core engaged, and then if you feel stable, extend the left arm out in front of you and hold. Breathe. This is where we start building up some of that strength, some of that tapas energy, engaging the solar plexus chakra and the sacral chakra to activate our power center. And then bring the right knee to the chest, maybe touch the left elbow if you had the arm out, and extend out. Inhale, crunch, exhale, reach. Inhale, crunch, exhale, reach. Beautiful. Let both hands, both hand and foot come to the mat. And then we'll switch sides. So left leg comes back behind you, right arm forward, and then we're going to switch. So right leg forward, left arm front, lower down, left leg back, right arm forward, lower down. Do one more. Right leg back, left arm forward, lower down. And this time, left leg back, right arm forward, and pause. Hold. Breathe. Check in with your core. Is it still engaged? And then maybe begin to do crunches, bringing the knee and the elbow to meet. Inhaling out, exhaling crunch. Inhale out, exhale crunch. Beautiful. And then we'll begin to switch again. So right leg back, left arm forward, lower down. Left leg back, right arm forward, lower down. Right leg, left arm, down. Beautiful. Well done. Sit back on your knees. Take a breather. Those can be pretty challenging. If you need a sip of water, go ahead and grab one. The sunbird holds and switches are some of the best for the core. Beautiful. From here, we're going to come into plank pose. So we've done this before. You can be on your knees. You can be in tabletop pose. Wherever you are, make sure you are pushing through the hands and the core is engaged. If you're lifting up into full plank, come with me. Send the tailbone towards the feet. We're here for 10 seconds. You can do it. It's a short hold. I believe in you, especially after if you've been doing yoga with me for 30 days, you can do this. And you're done. Send your hips back up into downward facing dog. Well done. See? You did it. Take a minute to marvel at the progress that you've made. If that was hard for you at the beginning of these 30 days, holding plank pose, reflect on how did it feel today? Did it feel different? Did I feel stronger? Did I feel like I was a little more capable? And maybe your body doesn't feel capable, but maybe check in. Did your mind feel like it was more capable of sustaining a longer hold like that? Press through the heels in your downward dog, bend through the knees, press through the hands, really get a nice long stretch through the back here. Enjoy the feel of your downward facing dog here. This is our first one, so whatever movements or stretches you need here, take them, use them. We've done a lot of tuning into our body here, so follow that lead. Bring the right foot forward between the hands and lower the left knee to the mat, coming into your low lunge. And if you have blocks, I hope you do, bring them underneath the palms so you can really push into the palms to lengthen through the spine here in your low lunge. Let the hips drop forward. Just make sure that that right knee stays over the right ankle. That's the most important part. Stay lifted through the chest. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Spread the toes of the right foot to help stabilize you. Beautiful. On your next exhale, send the hips back and attempt to straighten the right leg into your half split. Inhale forward into your low lunge. Exhale back, half split. You're going to move through these two poses back and forth, just like we did with our cat-cow, with our cow pose and our child's pose and our hanging cobra and child's pose. So find that fluidity again, flowing forward into low lunge, keeping that knee over the ankle, flowing back into half split. You don't need to get the leg straight. If you don't get it straight, that's okay. Last time, send the hips back into half split. Maybe move the blocks so that they're underneath your shoulders. Keep that right foot flexed. It might help to inhale to lengthen through the spine and then exhale to fold over that right leg. And like I said, if it's not straight, that's okay. Hopefully you're still feeling a stretch in the hamstrings and the back of the leg. That's more what we're going for, the sensation of stretch as opposed to actually straightening the leg. Breathe here wherever you are. And then inhale forward into low lunge. You can set the blocks aside if you would like. Bring the left hand to the mat and open the right arm up to the ceiling for an easy twist. And if you want a block underneath your left hand here, use one by all means. If it makes your spine feel longer, perfect. Curl the left toes underneath and lift the left knee off the mat so you're coming into your high easy twist. And then from here, we're going to lift all the way up into high lunge. So press through the feet, stabilize through the core. Arms can be at the hips or lifted up overhead. Press the feet into the mat. Feel the stability in your legs. Check in. Is it different from when we started, from day 1, day 2, day 3? Beautiful. Straighten both legs. And then bend both legs for a pump, for a high lunge pump. Straighten both legs and bend the knees down to the mat. Straighten and bend, straighten. Ooh, and if you lose your balance, that's okay. Straighten both knees. grab your blocks. We're going to come into pyramid pose. So I like to pop my back foot in a couple inches, or you can do a really wide pyramid pose. It's up to you. Maybe come into a runner's lunge, set yourself up for it, and send the hips back. Maybe rock forward into that runner's lunge a couple more times, if that feels good, if you feel like you need to warm up into pyramid pose. Runner's lunge with the hands on the blocks and send the hips back. Pyramid pose. Beautiful. Try and get that left heel down to the mat. If you can't quite get it to the mat, you can always pop the foot in a couple feet. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Try and bend over that right leg out of the hips, just like in half split pose. Come back into your runner's lunge and step the left foot forward to meet the right into forward fold and roll yourself up into standing. From here, bring all your weight onto your right foot, hug the left knee into the chest, and we're going to come into dancing Shiva. So that left leg is in perfect 90-degree angle, flex the foot, and then your arms come out to the sides in cactus arms. Really ground through all four sides of that right foot to help stabilize you. Keep your core engaged, lengthen the tailbone down to the mat, and pick one point, your drishti point, to focus on. And then bring that left foot into the right thigh, the right calf, or by the right ankle for tree pose. You can keep the hands reaching up overhead, or you can bring them to heart center. It's up to you. Find that North Star to focus on here in your balancing pose. What is your trajectory? What is your stabilizer as you move? Balancing poses to me are basically imbalance in motion. You're constantly moving and adjusting as you're in a balancing pose. So what stabilizes you? Bring that left ankle on top of the right thigh and bend through the right leg to come into standing pigeon. If you lose your balance, that is okay. Come right back into the pose. Straighten the right leg. Send the left foot back behind you into high lunge. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, plant the hands down onto the mat. Send the right foot back to meet the left into your plank pose, and then make your way all the way down onto the mat. And we're just going to lift up into a very gentle cobra pose. So hands on the mat, lift up through the chest, chin towards the ceiling, press the hips down into the mat. Lower down, and from here, make your way back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. We're going to repeat all of that on the other side. Breathe here in your downward dog. Get a stretch through the legs. Check in with how the right side feels as opposed to the left. And then bring the left foot forward between the hands. Lower the right knee down to the mat, coming into your low lunge. Grab your blocks if you have them to bring them underneath the shoulders. Lift up through the spine, lift up through the chin. Broaden across the chest. Send the tailbone down toward the mat and engage through the core to stabilize you. And breathe. Beautiful. On your next breath out, send the hips back, trying to straighten the left leg, and then inhale forward, low lunge. Exhale back, half split pose, flexing the left foot. Inhale forward, low lunge. Exhale back and continue with that little flow. Try to keep that left knee from going past the left ankle. Beautiful. Keep flowing. And then exhale back into half split. Flex the left foot. Try to straighten the left leg if you can. If not, that's okay. Inhale through the spine nice and long and exhale. Fold over the leg here. Adjust the blocks however you need. If you need to scooch that left foot forward a little bit, you can. I sometimes find I need to do that. Inhale forward into low lunge. Set the blocks to the front of the mat. And right hand comes down to the mat and open the left arm up to the ceiling for your low lunge easy twist. Just like in our seated twist, you're trying to twist from the top of the body, the thoracic spine, the top of your shoulders, the top of your chest. Curl the back toes under, lift the right knee off the mat for your high lunge twist, and then lift yourself all the way up into your high lunge. Arms can be reaching up overhead or hands at heart or on the hips, up to you. And then straighten both knees and bend the knees. Straighten and bend, these little high lunge pumps or split lunges. Inhale, both knees straight. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Keep your core stable here. And then bring both hands down to blocks, if you have them, or down to the mat. Come into your runner's lunge. Extend the right foot a little bit further back behind you. And then exhale, press into the feet, press into the blocks to come into pyramid. Inhale forward into runner's lunge. Exhale back, pyramid pose. Inhale forward, runner's lunge. Exhale back. And if you don't want to move through runner's lunge and pyramid, you can just come into a regular pyramid pose. Beautiful. One more runner's lunge if you're doing those. Send the hips back. And in your pyramid pose, maybe pop the back foot forward a couple inches. Really press through that back heel. Fold out of the hips, so it might help to inhale to lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, fold over that left leg. Breathe deeply here. It's a challenging pose. Beautiful. Bend into the left knee. Step the right foot to meet the left into your forward fold. Set the blocks aside if you were using them, and roll yourself all the way up to standing. Very nice. From here, we're going to do those balancing postures on the other side. So transfer the weight to the left foot and lift the right knee so it's straight out of the hip, coming into your dancing Shiva pose. Arms cactus out to the side, flex through the right foot. Breathe. Find one point to focus on. Feel your core turn on to help you balance. Press through all four corners of your feet, your root chakra, to stabilize you. And then trying to maintain your balance as you bring that the right foot into the left thigh, the left calf, or the left ankle into your tree pose. Imagine your roots are extending out of the left foot into the mat beneath you, helping you stay firm, even as maybe you're kind of shifting side to side or adjusting your balance here in these balancing poses. And then bring that right ankle on top of the left thigh and bend the left knee, coming into your standing pigeon. Try to balance here. Keep the chest lifted to the best of your ability. If you fall out of it, come right back into it. No worries. And then send the right foot back behind you, landing in your high lunge. Plant the hands on the mat. Send the left foot back into your high plank and lower yourself all the way down to the belly. Beautiful. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press the hips into the mat. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Take a big breath in and out. And then on your next breath in, lift the chest up into cobra pose. Even though you're pressing the hips into the mat, try to relax the glute muscles. Try to relax your butt. Kind of a weird juxtaposition, but it helps protect the back. Lower yourself down to the mat and press yourself up into plank and then back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Bend into one knee and then the other. Make any movements. Check in with both sides of your body. See how you're feeling. And then send the right foot forward between the hands. Pivot the back foot so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Make sure you've got a block up by the right corner of the mat. And then lift yourself, windmill the arms up into Warrior Two. This should be familiar. This should feel like a familiar pose. So you want to make sure that right knee is directly over the right ankle. You have heel to arch alignment. Right heel lines up with the middle of the left foot. Arms straight out from your elbows. Feel the firmness of the mat beneath you. Feel the strength of your core. Inhale, and then on your exhale, reverse your warrior. Reach the right arm back behind you. And then inhale, come into side angle pose. Right elbow to right thigh, left arm reaching up and over, and we'll flow between that. So exhaling back into reverse warrior. Inhale forward into side angle. Exhale back, reverse warrior. Inhale forward, side angle pose, reaching that left arm really far forward. Exhale back, reach through the right side of the body. Inhale forward into side angle. Exhale back, reverse. This time straighten that right leg into your reverse triangle pose. Breathe. And then exhale the arms so they're back in warrior two arms. Heel toe the back foot in just a little bit. Send the hips out to the left and then reach that arm out to the right until you can't anymore and use your core to pull yourself back up to straight. Our triangle pumps. Reach the right arm out and back to center. Reach to the right, back to center. Reach. Lift almost like your abs are working like a bicep here to pull your torso back, and then reach till you can't anymore. Let the right hand come to the right shin and left arm comes up to the sky for triangle pose. And breathe here. Press through the feet. Lifting that left shoulder up to the ceiling. And then bring the left hand to the left hip. Bend through the right knee. Your right hand's going to come to the mat or a block, and you're going to lift the left leg back behind you into your half moon pose. Flex through the left foot. You're trying to create a straight line from the bottom of your left foot all the way to the top of your head, and you're trying to get that left shoulder to stack on top of the right, and you can lift the left arm up to the ceiling if you like. Press through that right foot. You might find that one side in your half moon is a lot more stable and sturdy than the other. Beautiful. Bring both hands down to the mat now, coming into our standing split. Try to square the hips, reaching that left leg up to the ceiling. It's okay if it doesn't go very far. That is totally fine and totally normal. Bring the left foot to meet the right. Bend through each knee. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back into plank pose. Lower the knees, lower the chest to the mat. Breathe here. Hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift up into cobra pose, stretching through the whole front of the torso. Exhale, lower down. Press yourself up to plank and back into downward facing dog. Walk out your downward dog. We're just going to repeat this on the other side, but inhale the left foot forward between the hands. Pivot the right foot so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Windmill the arms up into your warrior two. Same cues apply. Left knee is over the left ankle. Heel to arch alignment. Shoulders over the hips. Arms reaching out strong from the shoulders, looking over those left fingertips. And breathe. And then just like we did on the other side, in just a moment, we'll move into our warrior two pumps, warrior two kind of flows. So reach back into reverse warrior and inhale forward into side angle pose. Exhale back, reverse warrior. Inhale forward, side angle pose. As you flow back and forth, I really want you to focus on keeping the hips stable and reaching up and out of the hip. So when you come into reverse warrior, you're reaching all the way through that top arm. When you're coming into side angle, you're trying to create a straight line from your right foot all the way up to the right hand. Next time you come back into your reverse warrior, straighten that left leg so you're in reverse triangle. Breathe deeply. Feel that whole left side of your body stretch. And then come back to center, walk that right foot in just a little bit, and we're going to do those triangle pumps. So reach the left arm forward until you can't anymore. Use your core, pull you back. Reach forward to the left and come back to center. Reach, back to center. Couple more times, just like that. Use your core, use your deep abdominal muscles here to pull you back. And then next time, reach forward to the left until you can't anymore. Let that left hand come to the left shin and reach the right arm up into your triangle pose. Breathe here. Beautiful. Bring your right hand to your right hip, bend through the left leg, and we're coming into half moon here. So you might want to block underneath that left hand and then lift the right leg back behind you. Flex through the right foot. Right arm reaches up to the ceiling. You're opening through the shoulders. You're trying to stack the shoulders and the hips one on top of the other. So right shoulder on top of left shoulder, right hip on top of left hip. Breathe, and then bring both hands back to the mat, square off the hips, and try to lift the right leg back behind you and up to the ceiling in your standing split. And bring that right foot to meet the left into your forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. And from here, make your way back into downward facing dog however you want. So we've been going through lowering down to the mat and lifting up through cobra. If you want to do a chaturanga and up dog, you are welcome to. If you want to just press back into downward facing dog, you can. It is up to you. Take your time. And when you arrive back in downward dog, walk it out or find stillness, whatever you need in this little transition to downward dog. And walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Bend through the knees, roll yourself all the way up to standing. And you can stay facing the front of the mat, or you can turn to face me, the long edge of your mat. If you need a sip of water, now is a great time to grab one. We're going to come into a little check-in here in the middle. So we're going to come back into that mudra again. So pointer finger and thumb tips touch, and then bring those little fingers, the four fingers, to touch. Middle fingers sort of tent up above, and then ring fingers and pinky fold into the palms and rest that at the chest. Take a big breath in here through the nose and let it out the mouth. No matter how long it took you, you've done 30 days of yoga. And that is something to be really proud of. As you've moved through this journey, you've gained a lot of tools. Yamas, niyamas, the chakras, yin yoga, power yoga, meditations, mantras, affirmations, and mudras. These are all things that you can carry forward into your life. This is a toolkit, essentially, of classes and resources you can come back to whenever you need them. You have built strength throughout the course of this 30 days. Not just physical strength, as maybe you noticed when we did our plank hold earlier, but you've built internal strength. It is a challenge to step on your mat 30 times. And no matter if it took you 30 days or a year to do that, you still did it. You're still here on day 30 with me. You did the work. And that in and of itself is a massive accomplishment. And I hope you feel really proud of yourself. Take another big breath in. Exhale out the mouth. You're doing amazing. And I'm so proud of you. It is hard work to show up for yourself, to ask questions, to be curious, to look at hard things and try and find another way. But yoga gives us the tools to always find a third perspective. Beautiful. Go ahead and let your hands come back to your sides. If you are not at the top of your mat, make your way there. And from here, we're just going to inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, bend the knees, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back into plank pose, and press the hips back into downward facing dog. Walk it out, bend the knees, make any movements you need, and then rock forward into plank pose. Beautiful. Bring that left knee forward and down. We're going to pivot into a supported side plank. So left knee acts as your kickstand, right leg is reaching out behind you, and then that right arm reaches up and over, and your weight is on your left knee and your left hand. Really push that right hip towards the ceiling, almost like you're creating kind of like a little rainbow with the right side of your body here. And then firm through the core, lift yourself up all the way into gate pose. So that right foot is reached out, parallel to the short edge of the mat, and you're just going to reach into a side bend over that right leg. So left arm comes up and over, reaching up out of that left hip. Right hand comes to rest on the right thigh. We're starting to slow down our practice a little bit here. Swivel yourself back down to the mat, back into plank pose. Take a breather in plank. You're doing amazing. Hold it, and then bring the right knee down, pivoting onto the right hand to come into a right side supported plank. And I really do want you in a supported plank. Don't try and get too crazy and come into a full plank. Supported plank for everybody here. Lift yourself up into gate pose. Reach the right arm up and over, and the left hand slides down the left leg. Left foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat, kind of like a warrior two stance. Breathe deeply. Reaching all the way through that right side of the body. And then windmill the hands all the way back down to the mat. Square off the hips. Send the right foot back to meet the left. Lower the knees. And come all the way down to the mat. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose. You can wiggle the hips side to side if you need to. And then press the tops of the feet into the mat. Press the hips into the mat. But try and relax the glutes. And then try to lift your hands off the mat, lifting your torso, lifting your shoulders, keeping your shoulders lifted, keeping the hands off the mat. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the shoulders off the mat without the assistance of your hands. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift the shoulders off the mat. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, lower down. We'll do one more. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, lower down. Relax, release, wiggle the hips. Come back into your Sphinx pose, elbows underneath the shoulders. Still pressing the hips into the mat, still relaxing through the glutes. Lower down, bring the hands under the shoulders. Take a deep breath in and lift yourself all the way up into full cobra once again. Lower yourself down. And from here, we're going to come into lotus pose. So you'll inhale to lift the shoulders off the mat, send the arms back behind you, and maybe lift the legs off the mat. This is locust pose. If you want to, you can bend at the knees, reach the hands back around the ankles to come into bow pose, but only do that if it feels good. Don't push it. Just like we've done throughout these 30 days, feel into what you need, not necessarily what you feel you must do. Lower yourself back down to your belly, wiggle the hips, and send the hips back all the way into child's pose. Take a breather. Relax through the shoulders. Come forward, back into plank, and back into downward facing dog. Bend through one knee and the other. Press through the heels. Walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Into forward fold. Maybe clasp the fingers behind the neck. I love how that feels on my upper body. You can clasp opposite elbows. You can sway side to side. Whatever you feel you need here in your forward fold. Bend the knees, roll yourself all the way up to standing. And turn yourself to face the long edge of the mat, and we're going to come into malasana. So widen the feet so the heels are wider than your hips, toes are facing out. And sink into your yogi squat. If you can go all the way down, great. If not, if you're kind of higher up, also great. Go to your own range of motion here. Go to kind of your own limit here and rest at that limit. So you're not pushing yourself. You're not straining. You're not pushing really hard. Find what's comfortable. And then plop your bum onto the mat, and we'll come once again into butterfly pose. We did this at the beginning. We're going to check in again, see how we're doing. Soles of feet together, knees apart, flutter the knees up and down a little bit. And then inhale, lift out through the spine, and exhale, fold forward. And as you're here, check in. Does this feel different from when you started class? And as you're here, check in and reflect. How are things different from when you started this 30-day yoga journey? On the mat, off the mat, skills you've gained on the mat, and maybe also things you've learned in the rest of your life. What has changed? Inhale yourself up out of your butterfly pose, and we're going to come into half butterfly again, full straddle. So extend both legs out to the side. Doesn't matter how wide they are, just as far as is comfortable, kind of to the end, like the beginning of your limit. If you would like to, you can fold forward. If folding forward is not an option, that's okay. Stay where you are, feel the stretch. If you can fold forward and you would like to, it might feel nice to have a block underneath the forehead. I find this allows me to relax through my hips and my inner thighs a lot more, which helps make the pose more effective with a little less effort on my part, with a little less strain. Inhale, lift yourself up out of your straddle. And we're going to come into deer pose next. We've done this a number of times. So bring that left shin so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then the right knee is just going to tuck into that left foot. So you're creating a 90-degree angle with your knees. You're going to pivot towards the left thigh. And maybe you're just up here in the twist, or maybe you come down onto your forearms like I am. It's up to you. If you want blocks under your forearms to kind of keep yourself lifted, do that. Enjoy the hip stretch here. Enjoy the release. Lift yourself back up. Unwind the legs, and we're just going to repeat that on the other side. So this time, right shin comes parallel to the front of the mat. Left knee tucks into the right foot. Inhale up nice and tall, twist to the right, and maybe you stay twisted and lifted, or maybe you come down onto your forearms or onto a block. Up to you. Be gentle here. We're starting to slow down our class, slow down our practice. So check in. Are you being kind to yourself? Are you doing harm? Are you being honest with yourself? Are you telling yourself the truth about what you are capable of? Are you meeting yourself in the middle? Brahmacharya, moderation. Lift yourself up out of deer pose and swivel yourself so you're on your mat the long ways. We're going to come into a series of forward folds. So extend both legs out in front of you and then bring the right foot into the left thigh. Janu Shirshasana. Inhale up nice and tall, flex the left foot and fold forward. Lift yourself back up, and we're just going to come into a gentle twist. So bring that left hand to the right knee and twist to the right. This will not be a very deep stretch, especially because I don't want you to injure your knees. So go gentle. No, it won't be as deep. come back through to center, and you're going to bring that right knee. The goal is to bring the right knee on top of the left knee. If you can't get there, that's okay. Just cross the right foot across the left leg and hang out there. If you can get the right knee on top of the left, bring your hands underneath the left knee and maybe fold forward. Keep the left leg super flexed, or left foot flexed, and maybe rock side to side here as well. Inhale, lift yourself up. Uncross that right leg, and that right foot is going to come to the outside of the right hip. So you're not sitting on the foot, it's kind of outside of the hip. So it's half hero pose. And if sitting up is great, is good for you, feels like a good stretch, stay there. If you want to fold forward, you can. If this is too much, try sitting up on a block. It'll still get the stretch in the front of the leg, the quad. The hamstring. But whatever works for you. Come on up, send that right leg forward, give the knees a little wiggle, and we're going to repeat those on the other side. So left foot comes into the right thigh, flex through the right foot, inhale up nice and tall, and exhale, fold forward. Keep the right leg nice and active. Inhale up, and we're going to just twist to the left very gently. Right hand comes to the left knee. Legs stay as they are, so it's not a very deep twist at all. Come back through to center. And we're going to try to stack that left knee on top of the right. And again, if you can't, the left foot is just going to come outside of the right thigh. You'll hug the knee into the chest. If you can stack the left knee on top of the right, bring the hands underneath the right knee, flex the right foot, and maybe, if you want to and if it feels good, fold forward. Lift yourself back up, and we'll come into half hero pose from here. So left foot comes outside of the left hip. If you can't square off the hips, sit up on a block. That'll definitely help, especially if you have knee pain. And then maybe you fold forward if that feels comfortable, if you feel like you have the mobility. If not, just stay sitting up straight. And if this pose is completely uncomfortable for you, you can come back into Janu Shirshasana and bring the left foot into the right thigh again for another round of that pose. And in any of these folds, you're welcome to rock side to side. Lift yourself back up. And from here, we're going to come into full hero pose. So the best way to get into that is I want you to rock forward into tabletop pose. And you're going to widen your knees and your feet. Reach back and maybe move your shins, your calves out of the way so you can sit your hips back in between your heels. So you're not sitting on your heels, you're sitting between your heels. Again, if you need a block underneath your hips, do so. This is a pretty intense stretch. It can be painful on the knees. So if it's painful on the knees, I just want you to come into a regular kneeling pose with a child's pose. If you are in hero, you can stay seated. lift it upright, or you can maybe start to lean back onto the forearms or even all the way onto the back. I find laying down on my back in hero pose is a little too intense on my low back. So if you find the same thing, just keep yourself lifted up on your forearms. But wherever you ended up, breathe. Like always, check in with yourself. How do you feel? Am I going too far? Am I going far enough? Am I doing just enough? Lift yourself all the way back forward into tabletop and then sit back onto your bum. Scoot the bum forward, and we're going to come to lie down on our backs. Hug the knees into the chest, maybe rock side to side if that feels comfortable. Let the feet come to the mat. We're going to come into reclined pigeon pose. So bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh. If this is a good stretch, stay here, or you can try hugging that left thigh into the chest. Everything in this pose should be relaxed except for the right foot, which should stay nice and flexed to protect the right knee. Otherwise, try and relax everything: glutes, hips, backs of legs, shoulders, neck. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and relax. If you had the left thigh hugged into the chest, let it come back to the mat and switch sides. Left ankle on top of the right thigh. Maybe this feels good, or you can hug the right thigh into the chest. Again, the only active part of your body is that left foot, which is flexing to protect the knee. Otherwise, everything is relaxed and chill and easeful. And as we make our way towards our Shavasana here with these last minute poses, whatever happened in this 30 days, I want you to practice letting it go and letting it be. Let the feet come back to the mat. Let the knees fall over to the right for a gentle twist. We had a whole class on letting it be and letting it go, and we've gone through a lot in these 30 days. And I'm sure off the mat, you've gone through a lot in these 30 days. So as we begin to wrap up this experience, these 30 days, this journey together, I want you to think on, what are you holding on to? How can you let it go? How can you let it be? We can hope and we can dream, and we should. Those are so important. But it is equally important to be able to hold our hopes and dreams with open hands, because at any point, our hopes and dreams might change. They might not be for us anymore, and something else will come to take their place. So as we're in these very restful, opening, releasing postures, if there's anything you're still clinging to, see if you can release it and let it go and let it be. Here in these final moments of our class. Bring your knees back through to center. Lower them over to the left for the twist on the other side. Bring the knees back through to center. Hug the knees into the chest. And from here, we're going to come into Happy Baby. If Happy Baby isn't accessible, just bring the hands to the shins and open the knees up towards the shoulders. If you want to come into Happy Baby, open up the knees and try to lift the feet so they're directly above the knees. And you can grab behind the thighs, around the shins, or on the outside of the feet to pull the knees towards the chest. Keep the feet super, super flexed here. Again, that protects the knee. Open up through the pelvis, and as you're here, try to breathe into your pelvic floor and into your hips. Continue pressing the knees open. And then bring the knees back to center. Give yourself another little hug. Let the legs go long. Feet as wide as the mat. Rest your hands by your side. Close your eyes. And rest here in your Shavasana. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Make circles with the wrists and the ankles. Do a full body stretch or hug the knees into the chest, whatever feels good. And gently make your way up to a seated position. We're going to finish with a seated meditation, so you might want a pillow or a block or a cushion underneath your sits bones. And we're going to come back into the mudra that we have done twice already in this class. So once again, pointer finger and thumbs meet and then tips touch. Bring the middle fingers to touch, and then ring finger and pinkies tuck into the palms. Relax the shoulders, relax the elbows by the sides of the body. Close your eyes if they aren't already. Take a big breath in through the nose. Let it out the mouth. And for this final meditation together, I'm going to offer up a simple mantra that we've actually already done. For the remainder of this meditation, all I want you to do in your mind is say to yourself over and over, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Use this mantra to guide your mind into focus, to let everything else go just for the remaining 6 minutes of this class. Breathe deeply in and out through the nose. And even if you don't believe right now that you are enough, trust that someday you will. You will know that you are enough. Because even if you don't know it or believe it yet, you are. That is a truth. You are enough. So continue for the next couple minutes, chanting, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Go ahead and release the mantra, whether or not it was true or whether or not it feels true. I commend you for practicing it with me. Release the mudra, letting your hands come to your lap, and take one more big breath in through the nose and let it out the mouth. Maybe duck the chin into the chest, rub the hands along the thighs, feel the room around you. Inhale the arms up overhead and bring the hands down to heart center. Know that all of the hard work you did over the last 30 days was good work. You should be proud of yourself. I know I am proud of you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And just like that, our 30 days are up, but I hope these classes have been beneficial. Be sure to like this one if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe because your journey's not over. Just because these 30 days are done does not mean that there's not more yoga coming your way, more opportunities for growth and change. And I so hope you'll join me on those. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.